No agenda, no bull crap, just real conversations. Thank you for joining us for the Middle of the Street podcast.
So we're 6 days out from the election, Pops. Let's not be suspenseful. Let's not let the people wait, okay? Hold on, before I ask you who you're voting for. When did it become okay to do that? Was that not, when I grew up, I felt like it was not polite to ask people who they're voting for. I felt like people didn't offer that so much more. It was more of a private thing, or is that just where I was growing up?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I've always, somebody asks me, or I just tell somebody I voted. I guess I've always been pretty comfortable in who I am and my beliefs, and I don't think I've ever wavered a lot on them. I mean, I think I've adapted some over time. I guess what I've been voting for 42 years.
It's a lot of time.
Been eligible to vote for 42 years.
That's a lot of time to be voting.
And I've always been, I shouldn't say always been, I've been registered Republican most of the time. I did register as a Democrat at one point.
What year was that?
It was the year John Breslow ran for state auditor, and he was registered as a Democrat. So I changed parties to vote for him because he owned the company I worked for, Linweld.
Okay.
And I believed in him.
Okay.
And so I did that, and then I changed back then for the general.
All right.
I still voted for him.
Sure.
But
you wanted to even vote for him in the primary.
Yeah. I mean, I always kind of have had my kind of set value system. It's changed. It's got more refined as you get older, as you could say the same thing. You get more refined, and probably because the older you get, the more you have probably participated in life.
Yes.
Participated in the systems of our government somehow, or seen more of it.
Yeah.
And through that, then you develop stronger ties to those policies, those things directionally. I can say I've never 100% agreed with any presidential person I voted for.
Well, president's tough. President's tough because it's such a wide brush of what the president has to represent. What I mean by that is, if you're a state legislator from, Idaho, you are representing those constituents just from Idaho in that specific district, what they like, what they want, how their culture is. When you're representing America, man, that's...
I hope that's what they do. I mean, there's people on the national political level that I think forget about who their constituents are sometimes.
Sure.
And they get caught up in all the money and all the bullshit and all the lobbyists and all that stuff.
Well, good. It's good money.
Well, it is, but that's not how they got there. They got there by their constituents and doing what their constituents would believe.
Yeah. No, 100%. 100%.
Probably why, I haven't been in politics, but, because I'm a pretty straightforward dude, as you know.
Sure.
I think I could definitely say I've learned some finesse in life as I've gotten older.
Okay. Finger roll instead of a dunk.
It's not a. It doesn't have to be an F-bomb shovel anymore. It doesn't have to be a fucking shovel. It can just be a shovel.
I dig it. I think I'm still in the fucking shovel mode.
I know. Well, but you're not 40 yet.
Yeah, I'm close. Well, I'm close.
Yeah, you still got a year plus in your 30s, man.
You're right. I better use them better because I've been taking them for granted. I've been not sleeping like I should. I got to sleep more.
So I just looked the other day, nationally, men's average life expectancy is like 76 years and some change.
Yeah.
In Nebraska, it's between 82 and 84, I believe.
Ooh, okay.
So if you think, by the time you're 40...
You're almost halfway there for a lot of people.
You're halfway home.
For a lot of people.
I remember my dad, when he turned 50, he said, wow, man, my life's almost half over. And I was thinking, Dad, you're smoking 3 packs a day. Your life's more than half over, dude.
Jeez.
And he made it 15 more years.
Oh, 15, though? Hey. So you're saying, back kind of from your experience, there never really was a time where you saw people, or people saw from around you being rude, asking who you're voting for.
Yeah. Like my parents and my in-laws and my grandparents, they never talked about who they voted for.
Okay.
But you could always tell directionally where they were headed.
Yeah.
And where they were probably voting. I mean, I probably could have guessed 90% of the time and been right.
Okay.
Not like football. I can't pick football that good.
I wish. You picked a good parlay the other, well, I had the BYU, and you had the it was two Southern teams, wasn't it?
Yeah. Shit, I don't even remember.
But they hit.
Yeah.
They kept us afloat last week.
They did.
They kept us afloat. And I didn't bring you into my Colorado madness because I went down to the casino. I wanted to catch them at like a higher rate, but they wouldn't do it for me. And instead of just loading on it, I did some like little stupid things like to win between 13 and 19 or anyways, they're 1 point off. But I was like, I'm not bringing Pops into this madness. But I did want to catch them at like 10 plus. Mm-hmm. They just wouldn't give it to me.
Yeah.
But 11 was the game. But that being said, okay, to the election, because this is really important. 6 days. Who are you voting for, Pops?
Trump. I'm going to vote the Republican ticket.
You're on the Trump train.
Well, not really on the Trump train as much as I am as
the Trump bus?
Policy-wise, his policies, and I'm voting for. I've never been a person that's voted for personality.
Sure.
I've always been someone that's voted on policy.
Sure.
And I'm I guess you could say a diehard because I think we have too much government. Mm-hmm. I think we have too high of taxes. Mm-hmm. I don't think we should be sticking our nose in around the world trying to be the world's police department.
Okay.
I'm really excited about if Trump gets elected about Elon Musk working on efficiencies.
Sure.
He made the statement straight up. He said, I think I can find $2 trillion. $2 trillion.
I mean, I don't.
He needs to find 5.
Sure.
But 2 would be pretty cool.
No, I feel you.
If he could find $2 trillion in the first 2 years, that we could get to that 2 trillion number, annual 2 trillion number by Trump's last year, that would be pretty amazing.
What do you think that he can do? Do you think he'll be able to really, I guess, thin out the federal government jobs like how he did at Twitter?
Yep. I think so.
At 30-40% of federal workers probably lose their job.
80% at Twitter?
Well, that's what he did there. But you think like to the government it'd be like 30-40%?
Well, I think it would be more than that because I think there'll be some government agencies that will go back to their basic roots. Mm-hmm. Like the Department of Education. We talked about that a little bit last time.
Okay.
Department of Education, 1979, when they put in the Federal Department of Education, we were first in the world, and we're now 24th, I believe it is, or 23rd.
Yeah.
And when you look at that, there's too much bureaucracy there.
Yeah.
I think there's too much bureaucracy in a whole bunch of the federal government.
So we have Trump, and right now he's winning like everywhere. From what I see, he's winning. And I don't know if the media is just saying that so they're trying to get more Democrats out or trying to scare people.
Well, the one thing about it, he's doing really well compared to how he did when he beat Hillary and how he did against Biden. Because they had Biden and Hillary both winning big.
Yeah.
And they ended up being really, really close races. Now they've got him in a really, really close race. I mean, I don't know. I mean,
Hillary especially.
I wish. I don't think Kamala is necessarily a bad person. I don't agree with her on a lot of stuff, but I don't think she's a bad person. I mean, I really don't. But I think the party has done her no good by sprinkling fairy dust on her, 10 weeks before the election saying you're going to be our person. Mm-hmm. I don't think that was fair to her. I don't think it was fair to any of the Democratic Party.
So I would say I'm never going to call anyone a bad person who I don't know, I guess, right? Who
me too.
Who I haven't seen them personally, haven't talked to them, I don't know them on a personal level. That being said, when it comes to policy, like when she was in California, her office literally, with her being the head of it, denied letting people out of penitentiary who were legally set to be set free because of overcrowding. They made laws that put non-violent drug offenders, they're like letting them out of jail in California. And she's like, no, we can't let them out because who's going to fight the fires that we have to do? So there's that. But then what about, have you seen that stuff about, and out of her own mouth, maybe it's out of context, please do a comment if it is, but Kamala Harris saying how she was prosecuting parents for truancy issues for kids, for attendance issues for kids going to schools, to that Department of Education labored school, because and the way that she was defending it was saying that because we're losing so much federal money in schools. She's saying something like $60 billion a year they lost, or California was losing because people weren't sending their kids to schools, or kids weren't going to schools. And that's a real tough thing for me, because I don't want my kids indoctrinated in a lot of those schools. First thing. Second thing, goodness gracious, why are we punishing people that are many times the most vulnerable? And instead of finding the root cause of why they couldn't make it to school, or why they're not going to school, we're just going to throw the parent in jail?
Yeah, I mean, and some of them were because the parent was sick. I mean, fighting cancer and
the kid was sick one time,
yeah,
right?
The kid was sick
in the hospital. Oh.
Well, it's no different than, and I'm sure you've seen the little snippet speech of her saying when she figured out with a pin, she could beat people in jail.
Yeah, now, and I'm not for sure if that was out of context what she was saying.
I don't either.
I can't do that now because I understand but just her tone didn't seem like it.
Yeah.
That being said, now I know if you're a person who really doesn't like Trump, you're thinking about 1,000 instances of things that Trump said, of things that Trump did when he was maybe not even in a president, right? Or didn't have means to make policy, was not a policy maker in any capacity. Maybe when he was just like trying to get the New York 5, the death penalty, right? When he put out like the whole page ad, and then we realized that all those guys were innocent and were exonerated and all this and all that. There's character, like super big character, not only flaws but just flubs, like not flaws, just point blank, right? Trump isn't a good guy, I guess. Like, now that being said, I don't mean that as like he isn't a good, genuine person. What I'm talking about is just like from his persona and energy puts out, he doesn't put out good guy vibes, right? Now, I am just worried about
never publicly does he ever put out any good vibes.
Good guy vibes.
Yeah.
Now, action-wise though, I just want to go to the actions. The actions. What is Kamala doing action-wise that makes her, I don't want to say the savior, but that makes her, what people think she is to vote for to be president. Now, what does Trump do action-wise that people think make him able to be president? Or what did he do when he was in there for 4 years, right? Those are the things that I really care about. But it's tough because you read through social media, and I mean, people are just...
It's very divided.
They're mad.
It's very divided. There's people out there genuinely hurting since the pandemic. And they're still hurting. And, the inflation and all the other things that have happened, you can't point that 100% at their administration, but how they reacted to it didn't help. The last stimulus, to me, added a ton to that inflation because it put a lot of people out there on buying binges. And then they sucked up all of the inventories, and then there's nothing there.
Look, well, a lot of people are saying, hey, what happened with, all these corporate guys just making a bunch of money, and they're making record profits, and the corporates making money, they're making profit. It's all the corporate's fault. That's what you hear from the Democrats, right? Is this all corporate's fault? It's all corporate's fault. They're making money, record profits.
And all those guys are sitting there on huge stock portfolios that made a shit ton of money with them. So when there's 3 or 4
pot calling the kettle sneaky.
Yeah, I mean, when there's 3 or 4 billionaires talking about how this isn't fair and we've got to tax the rich, I'm saying bullshit on that. They're not going to tax the rich. They're not going to tax themselves more. They're not going to tax their wealthy donors more. It's all a smoke and mirror to try to get elected.
Now, look, so Pops is going for Trump. I'm voting for Dr. Cornel West. I made up my mind. I made my decision. I put my bumper sticker on my car. I made up my mind. I'm voting for Dr. Cornel West. And I feel good about my vote for the policies that align with him and the actions that I've seen out of Dr. Cornel West. Now, he's not a politician. He's never been a politician. He's never made policy. I don't even think he made policy within the academia places that he is a professor at.
Probably had some, but
but literally, Dr. Cornel West is my choice. Now, what I love about Dr. Cornel West and why I'm voting for Dr. Cornel West is a couple big key issues to me. I'm super huge about medical freedom when it comes to especially an emphasis on health and what we're putting into our bodies. That's a big thing to me, a big thing to my family. And Dr. Cornel West was really, really strongly attached to the ideology of RFK Jr., saying we need to do more research, testing. We have all this information and this proof that Big Pharma is corrupt and that there is a conspiracy that's happening for that. However they can make more profits, they are doing. And it doesn't have to do with the health of the people. It's about the profits for the company. So I loved that he was on that stance.
So, and I think on that food standpoint, because I was reflecting on when we were talking about the average life expectancy of what that, because it's a 8-9 year difference nationwide versus the state of Nebraska. Well, why is that? Well, there's a lot of people out here that grow their own food. We have access to lots of farmers markets.
True.
Where they're truly home-raised vegetables and fruits off of trees that aren't sprayed and all those things. Yeah. And I think that has a difference. I mean, and it's no different than a lot of the people that eat beef in the state are getting farm-raised beef, not imported beef, not stuff that's genetically modified to the hilt.
Like if they have a hamburger, it was like from one cow.
Yeah.
Not from like hundreds of cows.
Yeah.
Grinded together.
Yep. So I think that food thing is really important. It scares me a little bit with some of these people wanting to do synthetic meats and what's in those synthetic meats.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it scared me. We had a customer that was using actually a known poisonous gas that they were putting on top of their meats to keep them red for shelf life.
Yeah.
That's wrong, man.
And that happens. See, and that's just all about the profit thing. And what I try to really tell people is they think that they'll say, oh, I want to be vegan because I want to be healthy. And I say, well, I mean, I'm going to keep it 100, right? I would rather, health-wise, I think that 100,000%, if a person is eating a burger that from a cow that literally you almost know that cow's name, okay, and it's sustainably raised off like regenerative farming, that is much healthier, 1,000 times healthier than an Impossible Burger. I would put my bank account on that. Yeah. That burger that's sustainably raised is 1,000 times more healthy than that Impossible Burger. Now, I mean, so that's 100%. I think that's one of the biggest things that I love about what RFK Jr. was bringing to the game. But also, of course, too, Dr. Cornel West was totally against mandates for vaccines. And that was a big thing to me as well. I think it definitely should be everybody's choice. And then Dr. Cornel West does have a real, I think, intelligent plan to get to that, what I think would really help to economically level a playing field. He really does have a plan for reparations. And it isn't just throw the kitchen sink out. Or throw the kitchen sink at everything and just give treasures upon treasures. It's a real structured plan to try to right wrongs that still have effects. So I'm excited about Dr. Cornel West. Now, a lot of people are going to tell me that I'm throwing my vote away. I'm throwing my vote away because Dr. Cornel West isn't going to win. So you might as well pick one of the big two. Do you think I'm throwing the vote away?
Well, your vote's going to count, and it's a personal choice. But yeah, he's not going to win. I can say the one thing about Trump, I think part of Trump's problem in his first presidency, although he didn't do a horrible job, I think he surrounded himself by a bunch of horrible people because he didn't know. He didn't know what he didn't know.
Sure.
And so he's listened to these advisors saying, pick this guy, pick this guy, pick this guy.
Sure.
Well, they didn't have any alignment. They didn't have any common good, with the exception of they happen to both be Republicans or something, and that's not good. I think he'll do a much better job of picking better cabinet folks this time that are aligned and that can get things done for him.
Yeah.
And I think he'll have that. I would guess he's got most of that in place already.
Sure.
The first time, I don't think he had any of it in place. I think he was scrambling after he had won past Inauguration Day.
So does Trump win?
I don't know. I don't know.
Is that close to you?
Yeah, I think it's going to be very close. I'm going to be one of those really upset Americans if it goes like last time and they quit counting votes, and then all of a sudden there's a big surge in votes and there's a bunch of crazy shit that goes on, because I don't know. I'm not going to say he didn't lose last time or he didn't win, but there was a lot of stuff at least came out from a media perspective of some stuff that didn't make sense to me because we'd never seen that happen before.
Sure. There's multiple things that you could say were election interference. But that all aside, I know that's a big thing to put aside. But at the end of the day, if people, I almost bought one of those little small pocket constitutions the other day.
I have one.
Do you?
Mm-hmm.
Is it with you?
Nope, it's in my office.
It's in the office. Okay. There's an article in the Constitution. I could Google it real quick. That tells you how these votes are counted. That tells you how they decide the president of the United States. When it happens, it doesn't happen on election day, folks. And it doesn't happen with your vote, folks. But that electoral college that you never really pay attention to, you don't know one person's name that is representing you in the electoral college. In most states, more than half states, they don't have to go with the popular vote. That being said, our election still isn't chosen by the people.
Well, that's because
you can say suggested by the people.
That's because we're not a true democracy.
Is that good or bad?
We're a constitutional republic. Well, no democracies have ever lasted. Socialist countries have all fallen. Communist countries have fallen back into socialism or what? In our constitutional republic, still pretty young.
We're real young.
In the big world, we're still a really young country.
How much more time do we have?
I don't know. I really don't know.
Wait, hold on. Are you one of those people that think that like if Kamala wins, it's all over?
No, I fear for, not where we live, but I fear for some of the coastal and south places if she wins or loses, of the rioting and the bullshit that could go with it.
I just, to be honest,
unless it's a blowout, I don't see either one of them conceding. Quickly.
Here's the question I want to ask. I'm going to come back on this because I want to get another drink. What day to day does it really change shit? Is it life really going to change with whoever wins day to day? Day to day.
Not for everybody. I don't think it'll change for everybody day to day, but I think it will change for some people, maybe drastically. If we get dragged deeper into Ukraine with the North Koreans sending 10,000 troops there, if we get dragged into there and put lots of actual boots on the ground there. That changes a lot of people. I think our monetary policy we have to get in order, or the U.S. dollar will not be the standard anymore. I mean, whomever the next president is going to have some very, very, very challenging decisions to make that are going to probably put us in a direction for the next 15 to 20 years that is going to be potentially problematic. Wars, nuclear, there's all kinds of crazy shit that can happen. From our power grid perspective, are we going to get our power grid back in the right place, back to having some nuclear? I mean, I'm okay with solar, although solar's made with some pretty nasty stuff. I'm really tired of driving around the country and seeing windmills everywhere. They're not very efficient. They're the most expensive power that we make in most cases.
Everybody agrees windmills are horrible.
I mean, and now they're going to put them in. I don't know if they put the ones off the East Coast now. And I caught a snippet of an article. I didn't read the whole thing. That there used to be like 2 whales a year would worship on the Jersey Shore or someplace out there.
Sure.
And now there's been like 20 of them this year. And they say that vibration, that's going through there just drives the whales crazy.
Oh yeah.
And they lose their direction because their sonar's not working properly. So when we talk about environmentally,
sure. Definitely that. There's a lot of weapons testing that does that too, like the sonic weapons testing underwater. That definitely. But you think that if Kamala wins, the country still keeps going?
Yeah, but I think the decisions made by the next president, whoever it is going to chart a direction for our country that is going to carry forward for the next 15, 20 years. I mean, if we play our cards poorly and BRICS becomes the standard financially and we lose the world currency of being the dollar, that's going to be a huge change. Huge change.
So, Kamala, I'm not for sure. But right now the big thing is, what's the general's name? Gosh.
Milley?
The guy that just said that he was in the room with Trump, and that Trump said he wanted generals like Hitler. Kelly.
Yeah.
John Kelly?
Yeah.
General John Kelly. He said he wanted generals like Hitler. Now, this has been, I guess, what's that called? Debunked by a couple people that said they've been in the room and said that wasn't how it went, right?
Well, that's not what they heard. But the one thing about it is people that were in the Trump administration, they either loved him or hated him. There was nobody that was just going to be quiet about anything. They either loved him or they hated him. And I think he's kind of, that's his personality. I mean, I know people like that. They either love him or they hate him. But back to that true democracy versus a constitutional republic. So if we had a true democracy, our votes wouldn't count out here at all. You'd win. If you won New York and California and a couple other states, that would be it. Part of that would be good because you wouldn't have to spend so much money on election. But I really think that we need term limits. Trump talked about that early. He hasn't talked about it again since, and I wish he would. We need term limits for representatives in Washington. The other piece is I think they need to cap the money. No super PACs. You can raise X amount of dollars, and you can raise X amount of dollars, and that's it. And I don't know if that's $1 billion. Well, I don't know what that number is.
Well, real quick, let's say that there is no electoral college, and then you do have to go campaign around the country. So you go to California. How many voters in California?
Well, their population's 6 million, 38 million.
But what is the split of that, though? Because there's a lot of red in California.
There are, but all of them.
Let's talk about that, though,
all
real
the
quick.
population live in the cities. And oops, shit. Knock my mic off, man. I got it back. Yeah, Google that and look at that. Could you get out of San Francisco, LA, San Diego, and Sacramento? There's a whole bunch of red.
So, let's see.
But that's where all the people live.
Now look. I mean, I'm just keeping it real, right? 2023. You have the Democratic. This is registered by political party, okay? Democratic, 10 million. Republican, 5 million. No party preference or independent, 4.9 million. It's like literally, you know, so what I'm saying is this. If you're the right candidate, right, and you're going out there, you can grab the independents, you can grab even half the independents. You can grab a lot of real voters in California. So I don't think that, like, when people do say that it's just New York and California that would win the election, like, I don't think so. Because if you did actually the work and go out there, like, I'm keep it real. How many independent voters in California do you think are voting Trump? I think over half.
Maybe.
I think over half.
If it is, then it'd be a way tighter race than it is, and I don't think it is. Now, if you did it by county,
but I'm saying if you just count every single vote like it was a mayor, race, you know what I mean? So if you count every vote, he would be behind 2 to 2.5 million votes in California. Like, you pick that up in other states that are just totally red. But what I'm saying, then you go to New York, and I bet it's about comparable, the same thing. But there's a lot of red in New York too. But what I'm saying is, vote for vote. If you're the dope candidate, then that's where it is. Like, I feel like it's on you. Like, there's no free lunch. Like, we shouldn't get free lunches just because, like, the Electoral College is going to make it kind of even. You get to split with county to county. Just go out there and appeal to more people. If more people buy what you're selling, then you win. I think that really can happen. Now, it can't happen in our scope. Maybe, like, we put ourselves in a box with this two-party bullshit. But if we really look at policy and people stop being afraid to vote for a person instead of a party, and vote for someone that actually aligns with how you actually think and what you actually want in your community, not just what you're settling for in a party, and you have to go along with all the other party bullshit, then you can really get a real candidate for president that not only has great policies, not only is a decent human being, but it also presents as one as well.
Well, but here's the really tough one.
Mm-hmm.
So, Mr. West would win. Say he would win. Your candidate would win.
Okay.
So what's his cabinet going to be made up of? And he's got to do that in roughly 6 weeks or less. He has to put a cabinet together.
Okay.
He has zero really Washington knowledge.
Sure.
Of people.
Sure.
So how does he put a cabinet together that aligns with him?
How great would that be? Seriously, like, I would love to go down this rabbit hole real quick. How great would it be to have that type of outsider? And, for example, how Trump was that type of outsider last time. And instead of literally just bringing on more swamp, he literally goes out and says, okay, I know who I make in my cabinet. I'm going to go get Travis Smiley. I'm going to go get, the smartest person that I really know to do education. I'm going to go get the smartest person that I really know to do health. I'm going to get the smartest person I know to do foreign policy. It doesn't have to be these mad dog journals. And where I'm going with this real quick, where I was going with the John Kelly thing, I think it's a perfect example. You have John Kelly at the top of the fucking food chain when shock and awe happened, okay, with George Bush. John Kelly was the general for George Bush, okay, when the shock and awe happened. John Kelly oversaw
Storm and Norman.
he oversaw 3 million civilian deaths, murders of Iraqi people. Some people are going to say 500,000. Some people are going to say trying to say 200,000. Some people are going to say 1 million. So you can take your number for wherever you go. The same thing that they debate with the Holocaust. There's going to be a lot of different numbers. That being said, he oversaw the Tripoli bullshit. He oversaw Muammar Gaddafi under Barack. So like when he says that he was in the room and Trump said he wants some generals like Hitler had, I say he had one. You were sitting right there.
Well, and
like he was sitting right there. These are the same people that oversaw the same type of shit. Now what I'm saying is they say, oh, you went to war. Okay, so did the Nazis. They went to war. And they said this, and the general said, oh, we're following orders. Or whether he made the order or they were following them. Same thing. So what I'm saying is, though that's the type of cabinet that we could do away with, and I'm just fine with. I'm just fine with doing away with these warmongering people, these people that see it one way consistently again and again and again. This type of dude, John Kelly, who's at the top, and then you actually go down there to the soldiers and to the real generals, and they say, this shit sucks. We could get ISIS over in 2 weeks, but this guy is telling us, it can't happen because they're making the wrong decisions. I would love to get those guys in the cabinet out.
Well, and to me, one of those fixes is that we go to a single term for a president, 6-year term. You think about it right now, they spend in their first 4 years, they spend 2 years campaigning.
They do. This is true. And then, so if you just do 6 years straight and you have to worry about getting another fucking term because you're not going to get one. You're not eligible for one. So you just got to govern.
Yep.
Now think of it like this. Now here's what I'm saying, okay? And look, I'm saying it. I would hope that I would encourage our readers to go out and read the book, The Real Anthony Fauci. Just read the book and go to the website, the Child Health Defense. And if there's anything that's false in there, then RFK Jr. would be sued right now for libel. And we know that. He would be sued if anything is false in the book. So that being said, I would love you to go see the book. And this is why. I'm going to give you an example. When we talk about cabinets, because I would love to stay on this. When we talk about cabinets, Bill Clinton, who was his chief health advisor person?
I don't even know.
Anthony Fauci.
Fauci. Oh yeah, Fauci was there for a long time.
Okay. Bush 1, who was his chief health
Fauci.
czar? Fauci. Carter. Fauci. Go back until Reagan. It was freaking Fauci. Okay. I'm not going to get through the whole wormhole, but y'all can go there, see who he was taught from. Some of them paperclip boys is who he learned from. Some of those paperclip boys. Now, that being said, if you know what I'm talking about when I say Operation Paperclip Boys, then maybe you know something. Now you go to Mr. Barack or George II, or Clinton, George II, W. He gets it. Same thing, Fauci. Go to Barack. Same thing, Fauci. You get down now to Mr. Trump. Same thing, Fauci. What I'm trying to say is he has been crooked since the AIDS epidemic, okay? Since chronic fatigue syndrome. Now but it's the same guy. So I would love to have an outsider come in and kick out these same people, because you know what happened since he was the chief financial guy or health guy, until now? What are the rates of chronic disease gone?
Oh yeah.
Where have the rates of diabetes gone? Where have the rates of mental disabilities gone? Autism, all of these things across the board. Where have they gone? If I was CEO of a company, Pops, and all the shit just kept on going wrong when it came to my department or whatever, even if I was director of a company, and everything keeps going wrong, if I'm in my department, don't you think I'd lose my damn job?
Yeah.
That's what I mean, but that's just not health, right? That's the military-industrial complex. That's the education. It's the same people. They're like
finance,
this revolving door.
DOJ,
stupid people.
All insiders.
Now people are gonna look at me and say, "Oh, how are you gonna call him a stupid person?" or all these things. I can get into it on a deeper podcast. So I would love to tell you why and how. But seriously, I would love to see someone different. It would do my heart good.
It's kind of like the definition of insanity. Doing the same thing over and over and over again and expecting different results. I mean, so I get it. But the time of putting that together...
It takes 100 days. So you win in November.
Challenge.
It knows you win in November. And you got till January 30 want to get your shit together. Okay, get it together.
You don't have till 31. You have till January 6th, 7th, 8th. I mean, you basically got...
Get it together.
You've really got 6 weeks. And in that, you've got holidays.
Oh, yeah. Fuck Christmas.
Where you're losing
You got to work. Fuck Christmas, you got to work.
I mean, you got Thanksgiving, you got Christmas, you got New Year's. I mean,
got to work.
The biggest holiday, and I think they do.
Yeah, this is the biggest job. This is the biggest job in the world, and everybody's going to be on it. I'm just saying. So I would love a new person because nobody else is going to bring something different. I'm talking about truly different. What's really, truly going to change? So let's say that Mr. Trump wins, okay? What changes in Palestine and Israel?
Well, to me, I think he'll get us out of there one way or another.
I mean, what do you mean get it out? Get us out?
We're deep involved. I mean,
is he going to stop giving Israel money, Pops?
Yeah, I think he'll stop giving all of them money.
You think he's going to stop giving Israel money?
I do. I think he'll make them buy it.
Pops, that's a losing bet.
I think he'll make them buy it.
If he stops giving Israel money, I don't know what I'll do.
Israel forever bought stuff from us.
No, but he's saying that he's not going to stop giving Israel aid.
He said he's not going to stop supporting them, and I think he's going to give them aid to get through this.
Through what?
Through this war that Israel didn't start. Same thing of why are we giving money to?
But they did start it.
The recent they did not start.
Okay.
I mean, if you go back thousands of years, yeah.
No, not thousands of years. 1940 or 1939, the first Zionist movement there. Then after World War II, the realignment of literally NATO saying that this is now somewhere different. So I mean, this isn't. These are still people alive that have had their houses and their land taken that are still alive. This isn't thousands of years ago. And if we were talking about thousands of years ago, those Europeans weren't even there.
Yeah.
So it isn't thousands of years ago. So this is from the 40s.
But they've been fighting over that same territory. So
one people have been fighting to preserve their homeland, while another folks. I'm just calling it how I'm seeing it, right? And I'm not trying to be controversial. I'm just calling it how it is. So, for example, if we have a place here since 1790 something, if you want to say 1776, if we have a place here, and right now, if NATO decides to say, you know what, this war that's happening in Russia, Ukraine, let's move these Ukrainians right here, smack dab in Nebraska, and they do it on my home right here. What am I to do, Pops?
Well,
are we not going to fight to the death for this circle right here that I'm at?
I mean, yeah, but I guess.
But NATO is going to impose that on me. I'm saying, I'm really want to put myself in a position of a Palestinian person, and then we're going to put ourselves in a position of a Zionist person. So if I'm a Palestinian, and right here, right now, and NATO comes and says, I'm like a Palestinian, say no. This is now Ukraine's country. This is sovereign nation of Ukraine. Why? Because they converted to your religion, my religion of all these people that I like. But for real, they say no. Now this is their house. What am I to do?
So, I'm just going back to October 7th of last year, when Israel was allowing Palestinians to live in Israel.
No.
Yeah.
No, Pops. There's a literal city there's a literal barricade around that nothing can go in and out of this big prison. It's an open air prison.
So you think prior to October 7th there was no Palestinians living in Israel?
I'm saying that yes, there are Palestinians. There's millions of Palestinians living in an open air prison right now because there is no Palestine. There is Israel, and then there is Gaza Strip in the West Bank. So what I'm saying, geographically how we segment it off, and what people recognize, what we call our NATO allies, what they recognize is Israel, and then there's the Gaza Strip in the West Bank, these small little spaces of an open air prison.
But there's Palestinians living all across the Middle East.
Palestinians, sure, people that have escaped and got out of that open air prison. But what I'm saying is you have a group of people that have a homeland that is what they call Palestine. And they right now, if I want to send a package to Palestine, like to the Gaza Strip, sorry, not Palestine, but to the Gaza Strip, to, let's say, Mahmoud Abdar, I have no idea. I know no one that lives there, okay? NSA or CIA don't come after me. I have no idea who these, I'm just saying. But if I want to send a package to Mahmoud Akbar, I cannot. That has to go through Israel Customs. They decide what goes in and out. If I want to send a bunch of money, I say, you know what, I love these guys. I want to send a bunch of water. I can't do that.
Well, but
I couldn't do that.
Jordan?
I couldn't do that before before October 7th of last year. I can't do it on any border. Like, Israel is there. If I try to send something, nothing goes in and out. Nothing goes in and out. It's serious. Like, nothing goes in and out without their...
But Gaza Strip to the south of them is not Israeli. It's a different country. It's a different border.
How I understand it is that everything within that is controlled by what you call it? Let's see what they say. This just says, so the West Bank and Gaza remain highly dependent on Israeli supplies and export opportunities. Almost all Palestinian imports and exports must go through Israel or Israeli-controlled checkpoints. The Israeli government regularly adjusts operations on short notice in response to major security incidents. Import clearance through Israeli customs and routine Israeli security checks can also result in lengthy delays. This is just from trade.gov. And I know that there's maybe some different geography, but how I understand it, if you're really trying to legally get anything in and out of Gaza, that's water, that's food, that's anything, you have to go through Israel. They control everything that goes in and out of Gaza. Now look, I'm not over here. I'm just a person that loves peace so much that I'm never saying that someone is right for using violence. That being said, I just know what I would do to protect my own home.
Yeah.
I know what I would do to protect my own home and my family's home. And if I'm walking around in a place and I have a curfew on me imposed by people that I don't even believe should be in my neighborhood, but that's what these people in Gaza live under. Like, there's literally Israeli security, what's that called? Their army, Mossad?
This here at Rafah, that's a different border in a different country. And they wouldn't let any of the Palestinians exit to go there.
And I bet there's a checkpoint right here.
Oh, I think there's a couple checkpoint spots there, but they're not Israeli, or they weren't Israeli. I think they are now.
Everything is and how I understand it from people that I have known from live there, nothing happens without Israeli okay. Like, nothing happens without the Israeli saying yes. And I know people hate the comparison, but it literally, they have set up the true ghettos. They set up the true ghettos that those people were subjugated to. Now, I'm not saying that there's ovens there. I'm not saying that there's gas chambers there. No, that's not what I'm saying. But they've set up the true ghettos. They've set up the open air prisons. Now, whether these people that, in the 40s, there's people that did it. Now there's kids. Now there's people my age, right, that weren't alive in the 40s that are Israelis, right? And they live there and they're saying, well, this is where I live. This is where I've been. This is where I've been. I get that 100%. But your grandfather took this from me. Your grandfather imposed their will on me.
This part of the world has been fighting religious wars for thousands of years.
But they haven't. Yeah, these are, and again, though, we get it confused, I think, with Ethiopian Jews, original Jews that were there, African Jews, original Jews, not converts of the religion that happened 1,000 years later. And then those folks are in Spain and they move. It's subjugated everywhere in the world. They move from Spain, they go to Poland, they go to Germany, they go to all these different places. And now after World War II, even before World War II, there's a huge big Zionist movement to move back to what they call their homeland in Israel, even though these aren't the DNA people of these Israelites we're talking about that were from that region originally. These are converts.
Yeah.
Again, so when that's all fine and dandy, they can be converts, they can love the Jewish religion. I think it's beautiful. But you can't have claim to a land that never was actually yours. When I talk about the actual people, your lineage that come from, you're a convert. You know, like if I convert right now, I'm literally born in America and I convert to Islam and I say I have rights to Mecca because I converted to Islam. That's like weird. Like that, and then NATO say, you know what? Yeah, the Nation of Islam, all these black people that converted to Islam that were born in America, now y'all have rights to Mecca. We're gonna give y'all the holy city now. Like that would be absurd. That would be literally absurd. But that's what I mean when I'm saying. And so it's really hard. Like, so if someone says that, oh, they didn't start it and it happened October 7th, that's what I call a fallacy.
That's the latest ember.
But every day is an ember. But see, every day is an ember. So if you live under subjugation every day, that's ember. Like that's something happening. Like, for example, I really will equate it to, and again, I'm not saying that I'm, promoting Hamas. But what I am saying is Nat Turner, if he has a rebellion and he kills slave masters, and then they say, okay, now that was the ember now that we go out there and we kill thousands of black males that were slaves because this guy went and he had an army of 40 people and they went and killed 48 or 50 families. No, not just slave owners, but whole families, yeah. Right? Women, children, whatever. Killed the whole family in some instances. And they say, okay, so now that gives us it gives us the right to go and kill hundreds or thousands of more because that was the ember. I say, no, the ember was you enslaving those people. The ember was taking their God-given rights to live as a respectable human being, not under bondage. Like that was the ember continuously every day in Nat Turner's world, right? So then I would say that these Palestinians, they're not in any way chattel slavery.
But Palestinians are spread all across this country and all across Europe
and
in the United States.
But there's specific people that have been there for 1,000 years that literally have there, and then Israelis come and they take the little homes they built. Like I'm not talking about a Palestinian in America that, you know, left and is over there. I'm talking about right now these people that have lived there for hundreds of years.
Let me ask you this. So is Israel at war with Palestine or are they at war with Hamas?
The Palestinian people have chosen Hamas to represent them.
And the Israelis are at war with them.
Yes, most definitely. And they're at war with them like Darth Vader was at war with Luke Skywalker's group. 100%. They're at war. But I just don't understand how we root for Luke Skywalker and the Resistance in the movies, but in real life we root for Darth Vader. That's where I find the disconnect. And I only can realize and only can kind of like think of it together as we root for those who we find ourselves most like. So it's like a human thing. Like yep. we root for those who we find some type of semblance with, who we find that look like us, maybe act like us, maybe even talk like us. Like we find that camaraderie with, you know, when we pick a side, because we all like pick a side in some way, weirdly. So
then look at Ukraine, who probably majority population in Ukraine are all descendants of Russia.
Or the USSR. CCCP.
All descendants of that.
Okay.
Some of them may be even descendants of Germany. Who knows from the war?
I don't know this region very well.
No, but I'm just saying. Well,
history-wise. So when you're telling me, I'm taking it face value.
At one point, you know, the Soviet Union came far out.
Oh yeah, I mean they had all this shit.
And and then Germany had a big chunk, occupied a bunch of it,
going tough,
and then got pushed back out. So I guess that's where I struggle. Part of the country's rooting for Ukraine. Part of the country's rooting for Palestine. Part of the country's rooting for Israel. And if you go back to the old doctorate stuff, we had things in place that, Russia had said, yeah, just don't come any further east with NATO and we're fine.
Of course.
And
yes.
we continued to go east. That's going to cause World War III.
So zoom this out one time for me, Pops. So we're talking about really quick here. These folks have always kind of been these folks. When we're talking about Russia, we're talking about these folks taking over and going back and forth here. Now, what I'm saying is these folks in Germany, bam, all of a sudden get a stake and claim to something across the sea. But what I'm saying is, like, that's not even close to the same. Like, these folks is fighting like they're their team. They look each other. They have the same custom, the same cultures, the same everything, right? Like, they're the same people. What I'm saying is, historically, these are the same people. I'm saying, like, these people are transplants. They're not even the same people. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, I'm saying these aren't the same people.
What about the UK?
What do you mean? What are you asking?
They had Jamaica. They had more. The UK had more colonized areas that they governed.
Yeah.
And had to send treasure back to the UK.
Yeah. But what do you mean?
Well,
like, I'm just saying. Like, nobody would. I don't think anybody would try to argue that for somehow the UK has some ancestral right to Jamaica. Like, they'd be like, no, that's stupid. Like, we know for a fact that at no time and point did these folks have an ancestral right to Jamaica over here, right?
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, you can argue that these folks have some type of, that some Russian over in wherever, Moscow, has some type of ancestral right, maybe at some time to Ukraine or vice versa.
Yeah.
But there's no way in hell we're trying to say that these folks, that these Jews, these converted Jews in Germany have some stake and right to some place in the Middle East that originally had Ethiopian Jews where this shit started.
Yeah.
Like, that's all I'm saying. Like, that's just weird to me. Like, that's really weird to me. Now, whether we're saying, like, I'm not over here saying that anybody should suffer, and I'm not saying that it's easy. Like, there's a dicey thing to figure out. But at the very, very basis of it, it's very hard, I think, for us to justify giving them money to support what isn't even there. We did give it to them. So maybe it's like, here's the argument. We have to be people of our word. Since us and NATO gave it to them, then we have to, like, keep on
Defend
the bad
it.
Track. Like, since we made the decision wrong at first, we have to keep on with the wrong decision.
But historically, we've sold Israel a lot of munitions. Sold them, not given them. Sold them.
I feel like I was looking at something of how much aid we give them.
It's sick.
I mean, we might sell them stuff too, but I was looking at something because Barack gave him the same. Barack gave him the same. Trump gave him it was real close to the same. The same money that Barack gave, that Trump gave. Like, we are Israel.
Well,
without us, Israel is nothing.
Look at the money we've given to Libya and Sudan and
well, I mean, what do you mean?
All over the world.
Well, I mean,
aid we've given all over the world.
Well, Libya didn't need any money until we assassinated Gaddafi and totally broke the richest country in Africa, the most prosperous country in Africa. We broke them on purpose because we wanted to destabilize Africa. Like, they didn't need money. They didn't ask for anything. Matter of fact, they were trying to send people over here money. Gaddafi tried to send the Nation of Islam money twice, and America wouldn't let him. Wasn't that crazy?
Yeah.
They wouldn't let him. But we give Egypt a lot of money. I know that for a fact. Like the Arab Spring, we gave Egypt so much money just for them to get folks that we thought they were going to get somebody else, but we didn't. Yep. I bet you could Google how much money we gave Israel, and it'd be on par for each freaking president.
Oh, yeah.
They're going to keep giving money. But so what I'm saying is, what's going to change there? Like, is Trump going to stop giving the same aid that he gave them last time?
All around the world, we continue to give money, and it's just sick and wrong. I don't know why with us being a debtor nation, I have no idea why we give trillions of dollars away to other countries.
Now, do you think that if Dr. Cornel West became president, would he stop giving all that money? He said he wouldn't give Israel another dime. I don't believe that he would give. I don't think he would even put the money in NATO. Now, people would call that radical. People would call him, oh, he's unexperienced. That's crazy. But what did Trump say? He said, look, I ain't going to give y'all another dime till y'all pay something. Y'all going to have to pony up and pay your share.
Yeah, do your part.
Y'all going to have to pay your share.
And I get that.
Pay your fare right now. So that's what I mean about, I think people are so really afraid of a third-party candidate, fourth or fifth-party candidate. I think that's literally how we save America. If you want somebody that's really going to stop giving the money to every single other country, that's going to worry about actual domestic issues, I feel like we have to get out of the Republican Democrat mind frame of this is how it has to be. Literally how it has to be. Now, really quick, back to, I want to touch on really one quick thing with Israel, because I feel like sometimes when I talk about Israel, I'm definitely the pot calling the kettle sneaky. Now, I live in America, and what's it called? I have a privilege, and I benefit from the past conquest and genocide of indigenous people who were here before the conquest of Spain, Great Britain, France, Italy. And what I mean by that is, right, like I am a direct product, like right now where I live, in my home, in the land I own, 200 years ago, maybe 150 years ago, right, was maybe a Pawnee or some other nation, right? This was their literally land for maybe 1,000 years or something, right? So I'm right now sitting on that land, like prospering, like I have dope shit in my house, and like it's literally like, you know, I don't know, like we could be buried on some of that shit, some of that conquest, some of that takeover. Like they didn't ask for that war. They didn't say, yeah, come give me a war, right? We just literally took the shit over. And I say we because I'm sitting here on it, like right now. Like I had a choice whether to say, you know, no, I'm not going to buy land here. I'm going to go somewhere that doesn't have blood on it, right? So I'm sitting on the land here myself while I'm talking that Israel shit, right? Now, would I agree if a Pawnee folks... Now, I know it's longer, like, you know, that was 1930. That's much more, you know, there could be a person alive still that says that this was my home, right? And it's still happening today, like literally today. But like literally today, there's homes that Palestinians built with their own two bare hands, and they live there, and Israelis come, it's takeover. They literally just take over, literally throw them out, and now they literally walk in there and live there.
That's Crimea.
Like, so shit's happening like that. Like shit's happened. Like right now that shit's happening in West Bank in Israel. Right now it's happening in Crimea. What I'm saying is, am I hypocritical because, and I know I didn't take someone's literal house, right? But I'm on their land. But I'm on their land, Pops.
So do you enjoy UFC?
Yeah.
Do you enjoy boxing?
Yeah, of course.
You enjoy sports?
You know I love boxing.
So what happens?
Someone loses.
There's a winner and a loser.
Someone loses.
And that is life.
No, that's sport.
But it's life. In everything in life, there's winners and losers.
This is true. This is true. It's very true. It's very true.
Quick, different topic.
But that's real. No, hold on, though. Hold on. Stay there, because that's like philosophical.
I got to remember this, though.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
Well, I just read this. The guy in California who won like an $80 million lottery.
Okay.
10 weeks later, he still doesn't have his money, and they won't tell him anything about it.
Are you serious?
Yeah. And they told him it'd be 4 to 6 weeks. now it's like hold up under investigation or
He
something.
wasn't supposed to win that.
And he's an older guy.
He wasn't supposed to win it.
But yeah, but it's just the hypocrisy of the winning and losing.
He wasn't supposed to win that, man.
I know.
Oh, man.
But
don't get me down the rabbit hole with that, y'all.
But
okay, so there's winners, losers. In life, there's winners 100%. That's how it's always been.
And it's always over land, religion,
okay,
and the strongest prevail.
Okay.
How did we help end World War II? We Americans.
We leaned on the Russians. No, I'm fighting.
We partnered with the Russians in Europe.
We leaned on the Russians, baby.
And we almost sank the island of Japan.
I mean, we just boom. Yeah. We did the unthinkable though, right?
We did the unthinkable.
We did the unthinkable.
But maybe saved millions of lives. Potentially.
I mean, there's an argument to be made. I mean, sure. There's an argument to be made always.
So, when we're talking about this land and stuff that's in Israel,
okay,
we're talking about it in Europe.
Yeah.
So, I think the people in the Middle East,
yeah,
either going to support Israel or they're not going to support them. We, the United States of America, should have a vote in that. Now, if the Israelis come to us and say, hey, I want to buy 25 F-15s from you, and I want to buy this Iron Dome technology from you, and we want to sell it to them for a profit, so be it. I think the government has to say yes or no to it. It can't just be the industrial military complex doing that.
Sure.
To me, it's the same thing in other parts of the country when we just give them money. We hope it goes to food. We hope it goes. I mean, the money that we released that went to Iran.
Yeah.
We were keeping a tight fist on that, and that's only going to be for food and medical. Bullshit. It loosened up other cash other places so that they could help fund Hamas.
Sure.
So why are we putting our nose in it?
Yeah. Now look, I agree with all that.
Now, if they're doing something to screw with us,
okay,
absolutely.
Then directly go after it.
He'll have no fury.
Just go on. But so here's my thing then. Okay, so because I like the philosophical thought of this. There's winners and losers in life. There's always winners and losers. Now, in our progressed evolution of where we are as humans and nations, should that be our standard anymore? Like, should we still be a winners and losers, or should we be a right and wrong type standard? Now, added to that, then does that try to put us back into where we are now, trying to be world police? So we're trying to choose right and wrong, what's right and wrong, and now we're world police again, and we're in the same fucking place we're in.
We're trying to put our culture in these other countries, our culture, our political beliefs in these other countries. They don't know it. They don't care about it.
Yeah.
But they'll take our cash. Or they'll take our food. They'll do those things. It's kind of like if we didn't have this worldwide economy, what would the Middle East really have? A whole bunch of oil that they couldn't sell. Because you couldn't get it to the world market, you couldn't sell it.
Okay.
So they'd maybe still be turning big rocks into little rocks. I don't know.
Sure.
How would have they evolved without the technology?
Without that big oil money.
Without the world technology helping them with the oil, helping them refining, all of those things. So I get some of our assistance around the world from an industrial standpoint. Okay. I don't get it from a straight up, hey man, I'm going to protect you because I like you.
Yeah.
And I'm going to give you a whole bunch of money. I don't agree with that. I don't. Initially, the whole thing with Ukraine, I said, hey, Europe has a problem. The United States doesn't have a problem.
Sure.
They're not a NATO country. Poland should have been all over it. Germany, all of those countries should have been all over it. It took them a year to catch up with the money that we'd given them.
Yeah.
Which, that's crazy to me. It's you think if Russia invaded Canada, we'd sit still and let it happen?
No.
Absolutely
not. Of course not. And we wouldn't just be asking everybody else for something. We just go and do something.
We just go get it.
Now, here's my question then. So Trump gets, so we're back to the Trump question. If Trump gets it, he wins. First thing, what does he do? I think we tried to talk about what he does in Israel, right? He can't just stop giving them money. Maybe he can, but does he? I don't think he stops.
No, but I can say if he goes to Netanyahu and says, "All right, man, this is the last we're giving you. You've got 60 days to end this thing and to come to some type of peace accord, or we're out." Mm-hmm. He has that one-on-one conversation behind closed doors.
Yeah. Master deal maker.
That shit happens.
Master deal maker.
Yeah, he's not going to be the political.
No, he's a deal maker.
He's a deal maker, man.
He's a deal maker. If anybody tries to front and say he's not a deal maker, they're just lying to themselves. Like that's what he does. He fucking makes deals. He makes deals. Now,
some of them are good deals, some are bad deals. I mean, but he has a much of experience making deals that isn't. Not all of them been home runs, man. You know, the guys filed bankruptcy. They're bankrupt a couple of companies. Yeah. That he owned. You know. Not everybody's an Elon Musk.
So what is he able to do then in Ukraine? Because they always say, "Oh, what is he just going to give it up to Russia? He's just going to let Russia have it? He's going to go like." What does he do in Ukraine? You think?
I think he's going to cut the deal with Ukraine of saying, "All right, you know, if you want this specific territory along the border because you think you got to have a buffer,
yeah,
we can talk about that."
Yeah.
But at the same time, then he's got to go to NATO and say, "Okay, NATO, we're not spreading east anymore, period. If we do, Russia can do whatever the hell they want, and we're not paying a dime into NATO."
We're not paying a dime. So
it's that leverage.
It's some more just deal making. It's more master deal making. So Kamala, she gets in there, let's say. What happens in Israel when Kamala gets in?
I don't know.
She's not going to quit funding them.
No.
She'll fund more. Now, she's losing a lot of people, a lot of her base, a lot of people in general don't like Kamala because of her support for Israel.
Yeah.
Like she really loses a lot of people for that. Is that really going to hurt her Tuesday?
And I don't think so, because that's one piece of it. You know, but she's got some other pieces that are loose cannon that when you start totaling up those, that's where she loses people.
Like Michigan, I heard, is tough for her right now.
Oh yeah. Well, but the other part is with Kamala is they'll ask her a pretty point blank question.
Yeah.
And it's like the second thing out of her mouth is I was brought up as middle class. I've heard that. I don't know how many thousand times.
This election is so important.
Yeah.
Because
Donald Trump is a fascist.
Yeah, okay. Let me just get into that. You've seen this man do his thing for 4 years before, right? 4 years we've seen what he had to offer. Where was the fascism? I mean, other than maybe Operation Warp Speed, the fastest vaccine ever to hit the market, and his support of lots of mandates, whether it was masks or whether it was anything, right? And I'm pretty sure all the liberals love that type of fascism. Other than that type of fascism, okay, when he allowed all the businesses in America to be shut down, okay, other than that fascism, what else where's your other example of fascism?
None that I can think of. I mean, let's not even go down the rabbit hole of the whole Wuhan virus, COVID, because that's a whole different thing. I have no idea why we continued to fund that when we wouldn't do gain of function. You can't legally do gain of function research in the United States, but we're funding it in China. That's why they had to take it out. That's why we're funding it in China.
That's why Fauci. That's Fauci joint.
I know.
It's Fauci joint.
We're funding it in China.
Big money.
A really loose cannon country.
Big money. Big money. Why in China?
I have no clue.
God, man. Well, hold on. Okay, have you seen that? Okay, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say,
go ahead.
There's nothing else fascist he really did, with the exception of he was brutally hard on some things. He was brutally hard on NATO. Okay. Either everybody's going to pay up or we're going to quit paying. Screw you guys.
Okay.
The Paris Climate Accord, which was full of smoke and mirrors.
Yeah.
Bullshit. He said, "No, we're getting out of that. There's nothing here for us.
Yeah.
This doesn't do anything for global warming. This isn't a solution. This is just throwing money. So some of those things he did. Yeah, I guess you could say that he was fascist by saying, okay, Mexico, you're going to hold these people till they get through our asylum courts, or else.
Yeah.
That was kind of fascist. I consider some of that stuff deal making.
Okay. I'm trying to get just a definition on fascism. Fascism, just a real succinct definition on fascism, and it's so hard.
Well, I actually looked up a couple of them, and I don't have them with me. But when I looked at it, it almost made me feel like the Democratic Party is being more fascist than Trump.
Well, I definitely would agree, but I don't know why I can't find just a Webster's dictionary. There's Webster's finally. Jeez Louise. Fascism, a populist political philosophy, movement or regime that exalts nation and often race above the individual, that is associated with a centralized autocratic government headed by a dictatorial leader, and that is characterized by severe economic and social regimentation and by forcible suppression of opposition. So, really quick, okay, let's just deconstruct it from the backwards. Okay, enforceable by suppression of opposition. Which political party, Republican or Democrat, has suppressed the opposition in 2024 election? Let's just start right here, right now. Have Republicans sued to take people off the ballot? Yes or no?
Yes, they have.
Who they sued to take off the ballot?
Well, not to take.
No.
Oh, to take off of the election ballot. No,
have Republicans sued anybody to take them off of the ballot that you get to choose for president?
Nope.
I don't think so. Comment if you say yes. Yeah. I say no. Have Democrats sued to take people off the ballot?
Absolutely.
Yes, they tried to take Jill Stein off the ballot in all the states. Cornel West in the states, RFK Jr. in the states. Anybody that was opposition
and Trump.
to them, do they sue to try to? Yeah, they try to not have them on ballots. Yeah. I remember that now.
Colorado was one of them.
Oh,
early ones.
Okay. So all right. So we deconstruct that. That's numero uno. We're back engineering this. Okay, we're trying to be NASA. Okay, now. Okay, and that is characterized by severe economic and social regimentation. So government headed by a dictatorial leader, and that is characterized by severe economic and social regimentation. So really quick, have Republicans tried to, do they have the most regulations on business, on finance, taxes? Or do Democrats have the most regulations on finance, business, taxes?
Democrats are the party of regulations.
Okay, and Republicans, you would say, are more laissez-faire.
Yeah.
Like this isn't opinion here, y'all. I do have to say, though, I am a registered Republican right now. I have to put that out there because I wanted to vote in the primary, even though it didn't matter because Trump did his thing anyway. But I wanted to vote for somebody else in the primary, but there was nobody else to do that anyways. So I'm just making sure I'm keeping it trill, y'all. So when you look me up and you see what I'm registered as, it is going to say Republican right now, even though I am going to vote for Dr. Cornel West. All right. So Republicans, laissez-faire on economic things. Democrats, definitely not laissez-faire. Definitely party regulation. Now let's talk about social regimentation. Okay. Which party has more social regimentation? What I mean by that is, if you don't believe like us, you are a problem.
Democrats.
I would say Democrats. Like, if you don't believe that girls can be boys and boys can be girls, if you don't believe in like cutting breast off of little girls at 13 to transition into boys, if you don't believe that they can use the bathrooms, if you don't believe that there's a whole bunch of things that, if you don't believe that I'm a victim, if you don't believe just anything a way that I want to believe, you are a problem. Now, when it comes to Republicans, if you don't believe like a Republican, if you don't believe in man and a woman being the sanctity of marriage. Let's just take that one, right? If you don't believe in that, how many Republicans, I don't know, are they trying to end your political career, or are they trying to cancel you because you want to be married if you're a same-sex couple?
Nah, I don't think anybody's canceling anybody over.
It doesn't seem like, if you don't believe like a Republican, it doesn't seem like you're gonna get canceled. Is what I'm saying.
Well, I mean, Indiana is a typical Republican state, and I don't specifically know about University of Notre Dame, where Pete Buttigieg was mayor.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm guessing highly Catholic.
Sure.
With Notre Dame University.
But he was mayor.
But again, small snippet. They didn't cancel him. They voted him in. As a
gay guy. As a gay dude. Probably knows interior design very well. I'm just saying. Yeah, like if I need somebody to decorate my crib, like that might be the guy.
Or his
not
guy
him,
or whatever.
He's real weird. Like I've seen some real weird shit with him. He's not coming to the crib. Now, let's say okay, let's go here to centralized autocratic dictatorial leader. Dictatorial leader. We'll just go to there because I'm breaking it all down. Who seems more like a dictator, Biden or Trump? Now, this is going to be 50-50. Everybody's Democrat's going to say Trump. Everybody's Republican going to say Biden. But let's just get some stats out here. Would you say that a good measure would be how many executive orders you sign?
Yeah.
Just look it up.
I think executive orders is going to tell you a lot. And I also think, let's just keep it really real. During COVID, it was Joe that mandated and the Democrats that mandated that you had to have a vaccination to get on an airplane. You had to have a vaccination to come to this country.
Was that? It wasn't
During
Trump
COVID.
first? It wasn't Trump first?
No.
Trump was just following whatever Fauci said.
He didn't mandate it. He was the guy that says, I don't know. I mean, he was the guy that made the joke about bleach, and everybody went, oh, he wants everybody to drink bleach. Oh, my God.
Well, let's break it up, though. He did also say ivermectin is a good thing, and now he didn't say that. There's just his people were saying that, and ivermectin, and everybody said, oh, hey, horse tranquilizer, you're the dumbest person to take ivermectin. No, ivermectin, the person who invented the drug or put the drug to market won a Nobel Peace Prize for its efficacy. It's been the most prescribed drug and any other drug in the whole freaking world. Many people in India and different parts of sub-Saharan Africa, they take this thing every day to prevent things from like parasites. And like I said, it's the most widely prescribed drug. Like, people take this shit more than Tylenol. Tylenol kills way more people. What I'm trying to say is ivermectin is like, and I don't fuck with drugs, and I don't fuck with the pharmaceutical companies and none of that. But ivermectin is like a safe ass drug. And I don't like to say that because there's no like safe pill, like safe drug. But you know what I'm saying? Like, if I was gonna choose to be like, oh, what's a drug I'd have to take? I would take ivermectin.
It's one that's helped a lot of people.
That's what I'm saying. But what I'm saying, it's a Nobel Peace Prizing drug, and they acted like when I say they, the Democrats, the liberals acted like you were the worst person if you were taking this. I mean, they chastised Joe Rogan when he took it and bounced back in 2 days. Instead of saying, oh, fuck, how did you bounce back from COVID so fast? They just chastised him for taking ivermectin. Yeah. Not been like, oh, this actually
and talking
worked.
About it.
Right? And same thing with that hydroxychloroquine or whatever. Point blank, now those are therapies that are like used, and everybody says use them. But you were chastised for it before. So, I mean, definitely that was, oh my goodness, that was the most, I guess, like dictatorial, or like if there's more of a example of dictatorship that was happening, like please give me one. I guess China, you go to China and they were going hard at it, like the same way. But literally, that was nuts. But I'm looking at the executive orders here. 15. What you got?
3.8 years. 142. Trump was 220. Barack was 276. George W. was 291. Clinton 364. But those were 8 years. 3 of those guys were 8 years.
Oh yeah, those are 8 years. So here, this is a good one though. Donald Trump, Joe Biden, right here, 220 to 142 right now.
3.8 years versus.
Yeah, versus 4. Like, it's real close.
Well, there you go. The average executive order per year.
There it is.
For Biden was 38. Trump was 55.
So Trump's had the most since Jimmy Carter.
Yeah, Carter had 80 average per year. Ford had 69 per year.
JFK went playing 75. But like I said,
2.8 years.
But you see what Harry did.
Oh yeah.
Harry had 117 per
You get back
year.
here, I mean, Hoover, Coolidge.
Yeah, those guys weren't playing.
A bunch of them, man. They weren't playing. They were jacking it up.
Like Truman, FDR did 307 a year. He was going nuts.
I think he's the leader in the clubhouse.
Nuts. I mean, but he did alphabet soup. He kind of had to, right? He did all the joints. But so okay, if you want to hit that argument, Trump has had more executive orders, definitely. Now, in comparison to other folks, if you want to just say, oh, he's a dictator because he had so many more. I mean, he's not the least. He's not the most. He's right around. I mean, hey, that's pretty impressive though per year, right? The Barack 35 per year. Barack was just chilling.
And George W. was 36.
George W. was kicking it too. George W. was playing golf, so was Barack. He's playing basketball. George was playing golf, getting it in.
Barack was a golfer.
Barack was a golfer too.
Oh yeah.
I just loved how he put. He
was a hooker, man. He was left-handed.
Oh,
I remember
really?
right. I think he was left-handed.
I just love how Barack was like, look, man, we're going to be playing ball at the White House. I'm playing ball. He got the court going. That was super cool. I know it was a really cool story about Barack. His playing basketball with Michelle's brother. And he said, like, it was a big deal. Like, playing with your, like he was courting Michelle at the time. It's like, playing with her brother is like a big deal to kind of, get like in with her or whatever. And the brother, I guess, was saying, like, you can tell a lot about a guy, how they play 5-on-5 basketball. Is he greedy? Is he willing to give it up? Is he a team player? Does he complain? Is he, all those type of things. And I love that. It's like you really can tell a lot about a person by how they play 5-on-5 basketball. Like, you will learn a lot right away.
To me, the first thing you learn is their competitiveness.
Sure. That too. But character too. It's like, because you can be competitive but still have good character with it and still be a good guy. But those guys that literally just jack it up every freaking time they get the ball, you're like, oh man, this guy's just out for himself. Like, he's not a good guy. I don't want him with my sister. But yeah, I thought that was cool. That was so sidetracked. But so if we're on that tip, right, then I guess Trump would lose on the I guess the dictatorship from that way of executive orders.
It's the one out of the four.
Okay, so let's go to what's the other one? I like this breakdown though. Oh, here we go. Exalts nation and often race above the individual. Now that's something. Now, people are going to say, well, look at Charlottesville, look at the rallies. I used to look at the rallies. I don't watch the rallies anymore. I used to look at the rallies and the sound bites from the rallies and things. I used to get really upset the first time Trump was running, right? I remember when they kicked the one black girl out of the rally because she was like a protester. I think she had like a shirt on. And they kicked her out like people were hitting her, spitting on her. And I just felt so bad for this girl, right? And I was like, these people are deplorable, right? Like when I saw that, I was like, these literal people right now are literally deplorable. Now, and then I look at what happens at literally at the rallies for Kamala or whatnot, right? And when people are on the other side or the extreme of what's happening, and both of those extremes are just gross, right? And I don't have like a video of people spitting on like a Trump protester if a Trump protester like took the time to go there or whatever, right? I don't have that type of video, but I definitely but what I mean by the hate on the other side too is like the not only just the rhetoric, but literally the actions that you see of like people like going and like taking down Trump signs or like, doing vandalism on shit. And they're just like really mad. Like they're really, really, really mad, right? Or I know too, like, you've seen violence on some people like wearing a Trump hat or something. Like people just come and like hit them or take their hat and throw their hat away or some shit. And it's like they're really, really, really mad, right?
Well, the kid that had the Trump hat on and didn't say anything was just standing there and I think it was a Native American came up to him playing it.
Oh yeah, the Native guy did approach him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he got paid for that too.
Oh yeah, I mean CNN paid big money for that. I think it was CNN or NBC, one of them.
Yeah, he went all the way to the bank with that one. No, so yeah, so I mean, there's that too, and And I get it too, because it's like, but here's what I'm saying. It's like what the energy that the MAGA hat like brings is just it's a wild energy. It really is. It really is. It just is a wild energy.
I think this election, there's a whole bunch of closet Trump supporters.
Oh yeah, I don't think it's gonna be a question.
Just like there was the last 2 times. There's a whole bunch of closet.
The first time though, it was overwhelming.
Oh yeah.
It was like Dave Chappelle did the best skit. Have you seen that Dave Chappelle skit? He's like, he lives in Ohio. He's like, so I walk up to the polls, right? He's like, here's a bunch of people looking around like they got a secret or some shit. He's like, they're looking around like, watch this. And it's like the funniest skit. But he's like, just wait. And literally, like, you don't know how many people. I really think it's going to be a whitewash.
Really?
Well, that's a bad term to use when you're talking about this election shit. I think it's gonna be a
blowout.
Yeah, blowout. Thanks. It's better. Yeah, it's gonna be a blowout. It's just it's not even gonna be close. I don't think so.
I don't know, man. It's just.
I don't think so. There's not enough people voting for Dr. Cornel West like me. Like there's just literally, and all the loudest people, I think, are really in the minority of this vote. I really think the loudest side saying, the Kamala, the vote blue, no matter who they are, the minority now.
I think if the election is called early by 11 o'clock Eastern time and Trump wins, there will be buildings on fire.
It's possible. They're going to have to call that shit in the morning and let people chill. Because I'm not going to lie, man, the last time I woke up and Trump was president, and there was like this really weird feeling in my whole body, like, fuck, the world is over. I really felt that the first time. And it's because I was listening to the rallies. I was like looking at the sound bites from the rallies, right? And if you look at the sound bites from rallies, like the fucking comedian from the other night, right?
Yeah.
If you look at those sound bites, you're like, what the fuck, right? Same way though, if you look at the sound bites and the shit from the Democratic rallies, right, and you see fucking Megan Thee Stallion, like, I don't know, as a black person, I just hate when it seems like they're I don't know, like insulting my intelligence. Because here's the thing, like, I love rap music, right? That being said, just like you might, I don't know, love rock and roll or
rock and roll
rock.
And country.
Okay,
yeah,
okay, let's just say country. Tell me the most ignorant country singer you know of.
On what topic? I mean, it.
No. Just for example, like if there was somebody you wouldn't want your kids to emulate in the country world, who would it be? Maybe, I don't know this, brother, so I'm not trying to like pass hate. I'm just saying like Jelly Roll. Like, do you know about Jelly Roll?
Yeah.
I don't really know about him, so I'm not gonna speak on it.
Not a lot, but you know what I mean.
Okay, is there artists you can just think of that you just don't think is a good model that you would want representing what you want for your family?
Well, there's I think there's a lot of them.
And this isn't about throwing somebody under the bus. I'm just saying.
I think there's a lot of them. There's a lot of
who
them
isn't a hero
that don't share the same family values as me.
Okay, so and I don't know who it is, but let's just say, okay, because see, I can name these people, right? Like Megan Thee Stallion, right? I don't want my daughters to emulate Megan Thee Stallion, right? Or I don't want my son to emulate Lil Wayne or Kodak Black, all right? Then it's fucking stupid to me that like Trump would bring Kodak Black up and be like, like here, like this is who you relate to, and Kodak, speak for me to get these voters. Or that Kamala would bring Megan Thee Stallion and it's like, here, this is who you speak for, or you're speaking to these people.
Beyonce.
And like, here's what I'm saying, like Beyonce to me personally, like, and that's just because we have a lot of Beyonce records. So I actually listen to Beyonce, and she talks about she's a Baptist woman from down south, and she loves Jesus, and she's, what I'm saying, like this is her lyrics, right?
Yeah.
Or like the way that she's a businesswoman. Like, so I have no problem with my daughters being like, shit, I want to be like Beyonce, right? So that's cool with me, right? And like, I think it's cool as well if there's like, for example, like if fucking Jay-Z or Lupe Fiasco, right? If somebody's like, hey, look, bam, because like, yeah, fuck, this is like the biggest businessman in the world is is fucking Jay-Z. Or like a Lupe Fiasco, it's like, oh yeah, these are family values. He's talking about a man and a woman being married, or whatever the hell it is. Now, but what I'm saying is to have the people that make their money off of selling degeneracy, having them being your mouthpiece. That's what I just despise, right? And like I said, it goes both ways, man. It's like I said, like the liberals will put up somebody that I really am like, why would we want to have them as a representation of you? Like, why would you call that a good endorsement? The same way it's like, Trump, really? Like, you calling Lil Wayne a good endorsement? Like, that's not a good endorsement.
But those are going back to populace in that geography.
Yeah, what's popular?
That's populace in that geography.
What's popular? And damn it, that is just, it's just, I mean, that goes back to a root problem, a root cultural problem that we have, where that is I guess the thing that we're trying to uphold. It's just weird. It's real weird.
As a country and as a demographic, we pick some really bizarre heroes.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. We do. Well, we started with it. I'll take it back from the beginning. We started with weird heroes.
Yeah.
We really started with weird heroes. And everybody's like, give them a pass, give people a pass. The world was different. It was, but it wasn't. And what I mean by that is, for some reason, everybody thinks that back when America had legal slavery, that everybody was a slave owner, A, and that everybody was in agreement with it, B.
Yeah.
5% of American white male citizens were slave owners. 5%. 5 out of every 100.
And that was 5% back then in that population, which seemed like probably was a small number, and 5% of the population back then when slavery was going on versus our population today.
Well, still, like, it's just 5%, like 5 out of 100 people. Like, no matter what, 5 out of 100 people. So what I'm saying is this, like, you were way outnumbered by people who were not fucking with slavery.
But when you look at 5 out of 10 million versus 5 out of 330 million.
Yeah, sure.
It's a much bigger number. But
sure. Yeah, I mean, sure. But still, like, what I'm saying is, like, there was 95% of people just weren't doing that. Okay. Now, whether you agree with it or not, I would venture off to say that at least half of the people were not about that shit. So what I'm saying is, all I'm saying is, here's why I don't give passes. Because when they say, oh, it was just a different time, because really it wasn't. Like, 95% of people weren't doing that. Then second thing, at least half people were like, no, that shit is not right. That's not a good thing to do. Like, no, like, that's not where it's at.
We went to war over it.
100%.
Our Civil War was about that.
100%. 100%. And I hate when historians try to say it wasn't. It was about states' rights. That was the state right it was about. Now, but that's how I feel about, like, when it talks about our heroes. Like, because we have so many great heroes from that point, from that portion, that were super dope and were super vigilant, but weren't like rapists. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so just like now, right? I would hate to go back into history now, like, let's say 200 years from now. They go back and they say, oh, we're just going to excuse rapists or child molesters. Child molesters, because look at how many people were doing it back then. It was just something that was happening.
And they were just mentally ill.
That's just where it was. And I mean, you look at Hollywood. It was the trend. We would never. So that's why I don't get passes. So yeah, our heroes are freaking weird. One of the only things I really agree with Charles Barkley about, he is like, what do you tell the people? Like, I'm not your fucking hero. Like, I'm a fucking basketball player. I'm not your role model.
I'm paid to play basketball. Like, that's it.
Putting this ball in this hoop. Like, I'm not your role model. And I love that. He's like, your parents are the role models.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, and if you love Michael Jordan or you hate him, he has stayed completely out of politics for the most part.
Stay with that money, baby.
Well, he's been about his enterprise.
Money.
He's been about his enterprise, man.
I feel him. I'm not mad at him. Well, but here's the other thing too. Why I'm not mad at him? Because really, let's say he gets all deep into politics. What the fuck does he change? Like, really, what changes? I think he's smart. I think he realized, like, why would I do that? Both these folks are really, it's the same thing no matter what. 4 years is going to be this, 4 years is that. And the country still goes on, and I'm still trying to make money.
I think he's like, why would I compromise me and my business ventures over politics?
Over politics. When it doesn't even, I'm not going to say it doesn't matter, because it matters, but it just doesn't change things. It really.
And, you think about it, financially, he probably has more to lose than a lot of people.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, no, Big Mike got a lot to lose. Big Mike got a lot to lose. Look, we segmenting it into sports. Is this the transition into sports?
It is.
Pull up the games. My favorites.
I like Army and Navy both, man.
Navy did us dirty last week.
They did.
Navy did us dirty. Notre Dame showed up. Navy had 6 turnovers. How do you overcome 6 turnovers? You don't. You do not.
Ask Nebraska. We did it for how many years in a row?
You cannot overcome 6 turnovers. It's just impossible.
So I didn't cheat on you today, but I did do a couple of gnarly parlays.
Oh, yeah. What we got? What we got? Should we tell the people?
Yeah, we can. So I took.
What'd you
I
get?
got Army on the first half with
Army.
Penn State spread, Huskers first half, and Navy spread.
11. Who they play? Rice?
Yeah.
Yeah, they bounce back. They definitely bounce back. What's your second?
And the other one is Army game.
Oh, yeah.
Hawkeyes first half, midshipman spread. Got a 3-teamer.
Those are nice. Those are nice. Army, they play Air Force. Ooh. Army's just good, man.
Well, they got a week off.
It always scares me, though, because Air Force just, those service games, they really try. Yeah. But I don't think so. Army's going to. Army takes care of business. Navy takes care of business. I like that. Iowa is weird.
It is, but it's at home.
So that's what you call a gamble. That's why it's a gamble, y'all.
And that's why I did first half.
That's why. Oh yeah, just the first half on them.
Yeah.
Because Wisconsin been kind of playing better for second half football. They've been staying in shit, huh? They stayed tough with Penn State.
Yep.
He stayed real tough with Penn State.
So these are pool ones. I just got them today when I was over there.
All right, bet. What? You want to get them for us, or is that yours?
Yeah, those are for us, man.
Okay, bet. I'll get you the cash here.
Yeah, no rush on that, man.
So we have let's go at the top. So we told y'all what's going to happen with Army. They're going to get 13.5. I love that. Iowa is our gamble. I love the first half. Are we even going to be watching? We're going to be down at the game. Oh, this is a late game. That's nice.
Yeah.
We're going to be down there. I'm going to be watching that on YouTube.
Well, these are early. That's 11. Yeah, we'll be down
and
there.
And this is about the same time?
Yeah.
Those are going to be fun. Those are going to be in the stadium fun.
But, this is first half.
Those are going to be
6:30 first half.
Quick ones.
That's spread, so that's a little later game we'll be able to watch.
Quick ones.
This one here is pretty much so, because this is, the 3 o'clock's late one on that one. These are
let's go.
Spread in first half on 11 o'clock.
Those are good ass tickets.
So.
Those tickets are gonna go. Hey y'all, you might want to ride our coattails. You might want to ride the coattails. Okay, first one. That's Penn State. That was Penn State. Penn State, Ohio State.
Yep.
Penn State, Ohio State. What was the spread on that bad boy? There it is, right there.
3.5.
3.5 for Ohio State.
Yep.
Penn State's at home.
Yep.
Ohio State played like dog crap last week against Nebraska, or Nebraska played that good. Which one is it, Pops?
I think a combination of both. And I think, if we're going to talk about sports a little bit, we got to talk about the referee in that game, and they apologized to the university for the calls they got wrong. But apologies don't get you that 6th win to get you to a bowl game.
No, it really does, and it doesn't let you upset the big upset. And
yeah.
So look, how much of that is you can't let this money line hit?
Okay, so I'm just going to put this out there. NCAA is making buku money.
Yes.
And we're still using part-time officials.
Okay.
And at this point, athletes are getting paid like professionals.
Yes.
Not the same coin, but they're getting paid pretty good coin.
Some of them are more than professionals, yes.
But we're using part-time referees. When is the NCAA going to step up and just hire full-time refs for football, just like the NFL does? They need to do the same thing in basketball. You look at how they screwed up lines in basketball.
That's huge.
Yeah.
So they have the pro refs, they're year round. They get training year round. They stay in the game. So you're not working a summer league game. You're not trying to work a D3 game and then trying to make some more money come up. Right? That's basically what's happening.
Yeah, it's part-time gig for them. Some of them have actual full-time jobs and then do that. Some of them just try to live off of refereeing at all different levels and travel like crazy.
You need to just be in the game right here. Yeah, that's tough. And mistakes are going to happen, but not that type of mistake. Not that type of mistake.
Well,
like that was just a real, like, I mean, it was by 2 yards the guy was there.
So it goes back to me, you either have that or you have these super conferences that have a commissioner, and that commissioner has all of his refs, like the Big Ten. So geographically, they're going to do all the Big Ten games, but these are the Big Ten refs. They're full-time employees.
Yeah.
The commissioner's making all the decisions. You've got a panel of however many people watching each game.
Yeah.
So that when there goes to instant replay, boom, there's an answer like that.
And it's happening right there. Like, because we can figure that shit out real fast, and they need to be able to. And when something like that happens, how come that was with, the 2-minute drill shit. How come that New York or whatever isn't seeing that right away and saying, "Oh, stop the game. Hey, that was a first down. Re-put this much on the clock and let's roll."
Yeah. I think part of it is money, commercials, games lasting too long.
Oh, yeah.
That type of stuff.
Oh, yeah.
But they can fix it.
They can fix it. Nebraska got hosed again. So they're looking to play UCLA this week. Does Nebraska beat UCLA to become bowl eligible? What's the spread?
I think it's 7.
Nebraska?
Yeah. At home.
You like it?
I took them the first half at home.
It's 3.5.
Yep. I took them the first half at home.
Gosh, man, I sure hope that hits because you know me, I just believe in UCLA.
So here's a crazy game, I think. Vanderbilt and Auburn. Vandy's a 7-point dog. Vandy is...
They're hurting.
They're on the cusp of a couple of big wins they just missed on. I think they're getting mad.
Yeah.
And I think they may take it out on Auburn because Auburn's not the typical Auburn.
Take it out on Auburn?
Yep, I do.
Okay, so we like Vandy. We like Vandy. Here's the Oregon, Michigan. Does Michigan have something for Oregon? I don't think so.
They don't have speed to keep up.
-15. I like -15. I do, even in the big house.
This is a crazy line for Oklahoma, but they're playing Maine.
Oklahoma. So Oklahoma beats Maine by 34.5.
Oh, I think easy.
Yeah. No, that's a good one.
They may beat them by 50.
I like that one.
Because they've got to make a statement.
They do, and they're mad. It's time.
Yeah,
I love that one.
And
that's
a good
call.
I didn't put that in our
Okay,
stuff.
we're going to have to roll on that. I love that.
Indiana, Michigan State.
I love Indiana. That 7.5. Is it a trap game?
No.
Is it finally? No, Michigan State don't have it?
No.
Indiana's tough?
Indiana's going to roll them.
What's that Georgia game look like? It's right above it. Florida-Georgia line.
16.5. That's a stay away.
Florida started to get hot again.
Yep. That's a stay away from
my
opinion.
No, definitely. I don't want any parts of oh, here we go. Iowa State, Texas Tech. Here's why I like this game. Because, of course, I hope Texas Tech wins because I want my Buffaloes to, be in a better spot for the Big 12. That being said, unless I forget, do we play Iowa State? I felt like we don't, but I could be wrong. Anyways, this game means a lot because I get to see what Texas Tech looks like. Because, there's a lot of people think that Colorado has a chance to win out. I'm like, not so fast. I'm not trying to get my, trying to count the chickens for the hatch or nothing. So you got to see how Texas Tech plays Iowa State. Yeah. That's going to be a fun one.
In Ames. And, part of the thing is, too, the Nebraska game and the Iowa State game, it's going to be wet Saturday across this part of the country.
Oh, that's going to hurt UCLA a lot.
Yep.
A lot.
That's why I like that number because I think that number will change as the week goes on.
It does. Well, you see, it's 4.5. Oh, what's it? 6.5 now.
6.5.
6.5. Ooh.
I got the half at 3.5, and I was like, I'm good with that.
What's the Florida State game looking like?
2.5. Carolina's favored by 2.5.
I feel so bad for Florida State.
Oh man,
they just are bad. They are just bad, and I just I won't harp on the bad there.
Everybody left. I like the Navy Rice. Man, I really like Navy.
I like Navy a lot. They got to make a statement. Well, they're not going to fucking turn the ball over, I tell you that.
No.
I'll tell you that. And
Can
they
you
got
imagine?
their.
So can you imagine how much running or push-ups those guys?
So that might be the only thing. Look, that might be the only thing, Pops, is they might be that tired from all the discipline.
Yeah.
I like big on Navy. I think it's time to put a few $100 on Navy straight up.
I'm with you.
I do. Let's do it. I think it's time to put the $100 on the Army Navy parlay too. That's a good one.
We're in.
Bang bang.
Wisconsin, Iowa. I mean, I got to tell you, I like Iowa with that at home. Iowa plays pretty well at home, and they're a better team.
Iowa. Is Iowa State that good? Man.
Iowa, you mean?
No, well, I mean, Iowa State beat Iowa early in the season. It was early, though. It was early. You never know when it's early.
They got a new offensive coordinator, Iowa did. I mean, they're playing typical Big Ten football.
Everything's everything.
And Wisconsin's not the Wisconsin of old.
Kentucky, Tennessee, stay away.
Stay away from that. That's a
16.5. That's the same thing the Florida-Georgia game. Stay away. Stay away from those guys.
That's not a good one to stay in. I wish I could bet Husker volleyball Friday night. We're playing Wisconsin up there, and then Sunday we have Minnesota. Every
now and again they put it on there. You might look later. Yeah, that's it. That's it. We got a couple. I like a couple there. Hey guys, pick the academies. Really quick, go to the futures. Futures should be somewhere. I'd like to see some of the odds on the Big 12 championships.
National championship.
There's the playoff conference winner.
Conference winner.
So American Conference. Ooh, Navy's at plus 475. Ooh, I like that because all they got to do, Army says all it takes is Navy to beat Army in that game.
And maybe twice. They could play in the championship game too.
I think that's an okay bet. $100 on that one to 400. Okay. I don't care about the Mountain West. Yeah. I don't care about the MAC. ACC. Miami plus 110. SMU plus 650. So that means SMU just has to beat you. Clemson's plus 130.
Yeah.
I don't know about that. Okay, SEC championship. This is just a total pick 'em. Plus 200 for Georgia, plus 200 for Texas, plus 380 for Texas A&M.
Bama plus 2,500.
Because they just lost again, right?
I know.
So what do they got to do? They got to win out, and other teams have to lose, basically.
Yep. Big Ten, Oregon, Ohio State.
Oregon is even money.
I don't mind that for that number.
Indiana
plus 1,100.
All they got to do is win out, and they look good. $100 on that's a nice little piece.
Well, they got to win out, and they got to win the.
Yeah, they got to beat Oregon.
They got to win the championship game.
Right? They'll have to beat Oregon.
Yeah,
basically
in Indy, right?
Oh man, I like that. I like that. $100 feels good on that.
Big 12.
Oh, my Buffaloes are sitting at plus 600. BYU at plus 250. That seems too easy.
Yeah,
I like BYU. I've been liking BYU. They've been playing good the whole time.
They have.
I like BYU. Wow.
Well, I just want to tell everybody thanks for joining us again tonight. Ishma and I are really having a lot of fun doing this.
Oh yeah. Middle of the street.
It's a great time for just you and I to get to spend some time together.
Of course.
And that's always fun.
100%. I think the biggest thing about this, guys, is it's not about agreeing on everything. And it's about realizing that just because we don't agree on every single thing, right, you can get past to a higher point, to another point, some other way. That's really what it's about. That's what it's about, y'all.
If you knew how far in the opposite ditches we started.
Oh, yeah.
And now we're in the middle of the street.
Oh, yeah. Way in the middle of the street. Way here. Like, we're going to get ran over if a car comes. We here.
It may not be on accident either. They may just want to run us over.
Dude, for real. They mad.
Peace out. Take care, everybody. Love you.
Dun, 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 dun. Another middle of the street.
No agenda, no bull crap, just real conversations. Thank you for joining us for the Middle of the Street podcast.